Karl Адамs. I'm the wrestling coach at Boston University. This is the 5th tape in a series of technique tapes that I have put together. This tape will cover special takedown series and techniques. I will be covering the head snap and head control series, the underhook series, the Russian 201, and the front headlock series. The head snap and head control series is one of the most effective ways to control a man and set him up for the attack. The first technique I will be covering is the head and collar tie position. My partner today will be Rick Lynch. Thanks for helping out, Rick. Okay, anytime you reach out to control the opposition's head in the collar position, the thing you want to keep in mind is that when you reach, you always reach from the inside position, like such. You come from the lap position and you go from inside out. You never reach from the outside in. Anytime you start to reach from the outside in, you give the opposition a chance to shoot in and attack your legs. So from this position, you reach from the inside out. Once you reach up to control his head, you want to control him right behind the base of his skull. With the other hand, you want to reach inside, and if at all possible, you want to control the inside position. When you reach up to control the inside position, you want to control his tricep area. Okay, so from here, you control the tricep area, and you control him behind the neck, right at the base of his skull. Now, when you reach out to tie his head up, you want to make sure that you keep your elbow in close to your body. Okay, so in this position, now, if the opposition tries to take a shot, you can use this elbow to block him out. Oftentimes, I'll see wrestlers come out, and when they reach to tie his head up, the elbow will be to the outside. In that situation, you'll give him an opportunity to control your elbow or take a shot in on your legs. So when you reach out to tie his head up, elbow close to the inside, control the inside position. Okay, again, when you control the inside position, you want to control this tricep area. This works good when you start to snap the man down to the mat or work for a setup. For instance, I'll snap Rick down to the mat. If you watched when I snapped him down to the mat, by controlling this arm, you control this entire side of his body. So again, if at all possible, you would like to go inside and control the tricep area, as you control right behind his neck and at the base of the skull. Okay, now, there's 2 ways that you can set this man from tie positions as far as setups are concerned. You can come out and you can do what we call a force setup, whereby you force this man out of position for your attack, or you can do a setup whereby you have him react. Normally, if this man is going to react to a head snap setup, you snap him from a position where you're away from his body, like such. You reach out here, you anticipate that he's going to come up, and when he comes up, then you can move into your attack position. So there's 2 ways you can set him with the collar tie or head snap setup. You can use a collar tie and snap to force him out of position and attack, or you can anticipate that with a certain setup, he's going to react, and then you attack him. For instance, I'll come in here and I'll snap him, and you know that he's going to pop up maybe. You can head into a 5-miss carry and take him over with a 5-miss carry. The thing you want to keep in mind about the head control and collar tie position is that you can take this man in any one of 4 directions. A lot of wrestlers lose sight of that. When I tie him up and control this position, you can take him down to the mat, straight down. You can take him to the right side by just snapping down and away. Again, in any direction that you take him, lead with your elbow. For instance, if I snap him this way, here, my elbow leads. So you can take him to the right side. You can also take him to my left side, this way. You notice, as I start to take him that way, I lead with my elbow, that way. You can also take him up by setting it this way. You might snap him first, he reacts, pop him with your elbow. Attack there, pop him with the elbow. Attack there. So you can take this man in any one of 4 directions. Again, let's look at this. We're controlling this arm. We control the collar tie. First one, we take him straight down. When you take him straight down, it's a good idea to keep in mind that if you take him towards this leg, you should take that leg back like such. If you don't take the leg back, he may have an opportunity to shoot in on a leg attack. So as you're drilling this, you work on coordinating, taking this leg back as you snap him, like such. Now he's down on the mat. That's the first direction. Second direction, you take him down and away. Lead with your elbow. Now, as you do that snap, it's key to use this arm to steer his body and his head. As you take him down, you want to get as much of your weight down on his head as possible. It's not just using your hands and forearm. So you snap him down. You're using your body weight to snap him down. As you do that, you snap him down and away by using this inside control tie to turn his body, like such. So it's down, drive. Now, the other direction that you can take him is up. You might take him up by doing this. Snap first, he reacts, boom, and into an attack. Okay, the other direction that you can take him is to my left, in the other direction, to the other side. From here, you snap, now, drive, elbow leads, snap. When you do this, you get as much of your body weight into it as possible. Snap, drive. I'll give you an example of a shot that you could take with this particular setup. Right into a single. Okay, again, just a high single position. Snap, right into a single. The thing you want to keep in mind when you snap this man is that his body has to follow his head. Anytime you snap him, his body has to follow. The other thing that you keep in mind is that when you control his head, you have a good chance to control his center of gravity, which is his hips. Now watch. If I take his head in a certain direction, he's going to have to take a step to catch his balance. This is his center of gravity here. Anytime I take his head and I pull him, say, this way, you notice he has to take a step to maintain his balance. And that's what your head snap is all about. There. There. His body has to follow his head. Now, you can force him out of position with it, or you can anticipate that he's going to react. Now we're going to show you some ways that you can attack this man from the head snap or collar tie and inside control position. Remember, anytime you control this man in this position, you can use what we call force setups, whereby you force the man out of position to attack him, or setups whereby the opposition has to react. I pop his head, he pops up, and then you attack. When you're practicing various techniques using the head snap or head control techniques, make sure that you tell your partner, okay, I need you to react to this particular technique. I'll give you an example of what we're talking about. I'm going to hit a head snap fireman's carry. So I control inside position, I get my body parts in place, my penetration leg forward. Okay, now, from here, I come here, I pop, and I'm going to have Rick react. Okay, now, that's how you drill techniques when you have the opposition react to your head snap. Okay, if you're working on force setups whereby you force the opposition out of position, it's a matter of forcing him out of position and then attacking. Okay? Now, let's go through a few things that you can use with a head snap or head control tie. Okay, number one, you can snap this man all the way down to the mat. Remember, when you tie him up, always inside out. Pull down hard, snap him down to the mat. We'll go into a front headlock position. Inside leg back. Now, you have him controlled down on the mat. You can work a head snap, fireman's carry, or head snap, outside reach fireman's carry. So you can go to the outside, okay? Or you can go to the inside. You can go head snap, inside reach takedown. You can go head snap, inside reach single to the other side. So you can attack this man in any number of ways with a collar control tie, or reaching out from an open position to attack him. The next series I will be discussing is the underhook series. The underhook is one of the most effective control type positions there is. The first thing I want to cover is how to get into the underhook position. Okay, one of the first ways to get into this underhook position is just to come in when you're wrestling someone and just dig to the inside position. You notice, as I dig for my underhook, my elbows are in close to the sides of my body, and all you do is you reach out and you dig in to control the underhook position. Okay, that's one way to get into the underhook position. Another way to get into it is by reaching up, snapping a man's head. As his head starts to go down, you dig up for your underhook, like such. So it's done like this, like this. You can do that to either side. So if I did it to the other side, it would be here, and dig in for your underhook that way. So the first way is just digging for it, keeping your arms in close to the sides of your body, and then working into your underhook position. The second way to get into it is by snapping his head. Okay, you come up, you pop his head down, and as you pop, again, elbow in close to the side of the body, you dig in that way. Another way to get into the underhook position is by taking a leg shot. Oftentimes, when you go for a single leg tackle, the opposition will counter by going into a wizard position. Okay, I take my shot here, he goes into a wizard, so as soon as he goes there, you look to come up immediately, and then you have your underhook. So there are three basic ways to get into the underhook position. Now, let's talk about how you control the underhook. That's very important. Okay, there's a couple ways that you can control this. The main thing you want to do is make sure that you have your head on the same side that you control the underhook on. Oftentimes, I'll see wrestlers with the head on this side. That will limit the number of ways that you can attack this man if your head is on the opposite side. So you want to have your head to the same side that you control the underhook on. The other thing you want to take a look at is how you control this man's shoulder. When you take an underhook, you want to make sure that you're above the shoulder joint, okay, as opposed to being right across the shoulder. If you can control him above the shoulder joint, you can have more control of your underhook, like such. Now, there's two ways that you can control it once you go above that joint. You can have your elbow in close to your body like this, and a lot depends on what type of technique you're getting ready to shoot. Or you can have this elbow out to the side like such. If you control this shoulder, you're going to find that it's pretty easy to lift your elbow up to clear a way so that you can take a shot on a leg or a different type shot. So, two ways to control it. Number one, make sure that you control it above the shoulder joint as opposed to right over his shoulder. Okay, from here, you can have your elbow in close. Now, in this situation, this would be good for an ankle pick. You're in nice and tight, you pull him in a circle, and you pull him right into a position so that you can hit your ankle pick. From the other position that you can hit this from, or other way that you can control this, is to take the elbow and lift it high, like such. Now from here, this is good for high crotches, duck unders, and singles. Because the elbow is already lifted high, now all you have to do is pop it up and work into a duck, single leg tackle, or a high crotch motion, like such. So again, let's run through that one more time. Make sure that your head is on the same side that you control the underhook on. That's real important. Control it above the shoulder joint. You can have your arm pressed in close like that. You know, this depends on what type of technique you're going to shoot. As I said before, this would be good for an ankle pick. Pull him in a circle. Now drive him across that ankle, take him to the mat. Or you can control it here and lift his elbow high, like such. And although he tries to get this thing back down, he's still going to have a problem here. This would be good for singles, high crotches, or duck unders. Now, let's talk about what direction we need to move in when we control that underhook position. If you control the underhook position, it's always better to move towards the front, this way, as opposed to moving away from the man and towards his inside leg. Reason being is one of the counters that the opposition can use is a fireman's carry. I'll show you what we're talking about. Now watch. If I start to move this way, he's in a perfect position to hit his fireman's carry. Okay, let's watch that again. You start moving this way. You pull him right into a position so that he can hit his fireman's carry. If we move towards the front this way, now he hits his fireman's carry. Right towards his back. So it's important, when you control this, it's better to move towards the front as opposed to moving away from him. There is one exception. When you hit your ankle pick, to set this man up for an ankle pick, it's always a good idea to start moving him in a direction so that he steps with the foot that you want to pick. So this is okay. Move him into your plan of attack, and then you can attack the ankle. Other than that, you want to try to control him by moving towards the front. Okay, moving towards the front. What you do with this other arm is also important. The main thing you want to try to do is keep it in close to your body. You can reach out and control his wrist. You may want to go into a bear hug position like such. Okay, you always want to keep it in a position where you can take your leg shots. Okay, knee picks, that way. But keep it in close to your body so that he can't attack this side of my body. For instance, say Rick hits an outside carry. I can use this arm to block and catch him in that position. So, let's just run through that very quickly again. Okay, control it above the shoulder joint. You could have it in close to your body like such, up high, head to the same side that you control it on, move towards the front when you work on your pick. Move towards the front when you work on your underhook position. Okay, try to avoid moving in a circle away from him unless you're going to hit your ankle pick. Keep the free hand in your lap position. It's okay to reach out and control this. However, make sure that you protect your body, protect your legs. You want to keep this arm in close to the sides of your body. Okay, from here, this opens it up for singles, high crotches, and ducks when you lift high. If it's in close, this is more of an ankle pick type position or setup position. Again, from here you pull him in, you hit your ankle pick. You pull him in, you hit your cross knee pick, like such. Now let's cover some of the techniques that you can use from the unhook position. Okay, once you control this underhook position, you want to get your body in position. You always want to try to keep the leg that you're going to penetrate with out front. For instance, if you know that you have a good double leg tackle from this position, you always try to set your penetration leg out front. This hand stays in close to protect this leg and your body just in case he tries to attack. Okay, from here, the first thing we're going to do is just work a double. Oftentimes you'll get in this position, and to get away from me, the defensive man will try to push me away like such to get out of the underhook position. Especially if you have good control in this position. You're controlling his shoulder, your head is blocking him out from doing anything. Now he'll come up and push the shoulder away. From here, we just post up. When you post him up, you catch it above the elbow. You step right inside for your double leg tackle. Drive to the knee, come up, work for your finish. If you think that he might reach up and push your shoulder away, you should be ready to anticipate that action. For instance, you're in this position, as soon as he reaches up, boom, you're right in on the double, and you take him down. That's just the basic setup that you can use if he tries to push you away. Other things that you can do from this position are the ankle picks. We went over those just a little bit before, just the basic ankle pick. Your basic ankle pick. If you're going to pick him, make sure that his head stays at the same level as yours, or a little bit lower. You never want to pick him and get your head below his like such. You're going to put yourself in a bad position that way. So if we're going to pick him, we might want to get him to step with that far leg. So we move him in a circle this way. Pull his head down, drive him across that ankle, and drive him to the mat. That's one way to pick him. Another way to pick him is by tripping this near leg and catching his far leg, like such. You step in here. Now from here you trap his far leg and you take him for an ankle pick, like such. the footwork has to happen fairly quickly. Boom, right here, take him down towards his back. Now, let's talk about some of the other things that we can do to this side of his body. Okay, again, keep your head on this side of his body. You want to control this. And the key thing here is to know that all you have to do is clear this arm. This is the only thing blocking me from attacking his legs. All of your basic leg attacks are available to you, as well as duck unders, to both sides. Okay, let's work a few of those things. On a single, lift it, hit your single. Okay, from here, hit your single. High crotch motion. From here, you're going to dip your knee, step to the outside, high crotch. You can also work a duck under, here, into a body lock. That's just a matter of ducking your head under his arm, like such. If he reaches out and controls this wrist, you can duck the other side, that way. Watch again. He reaches out and controls your wrist, duck and step. Here, come behind. Another set of things that you can do from this underhook position is go to a waist grip, okay? You have your underhook controlled here. If at all possible, you want to reach across and control his wrist first. Now you drop down and you control his waist, like such. Okay, now once you get to this position, you can work by controlling the inside of his body, controlling the inside of his hips, or you can work by controlling this part of his body. Okay. If we're going to step in front, the big thing here is to block his hips off. Right here, you step in front of his body. All we got to do is lift him up over the hips, this way, take him right down towards his back. This is a fairly simple technique, and it's very effective. You control him right above his waist. And no matter how hard he tries, oftentimes he will not be able to get out of this position, especially if you can control his wrist. Now from here, we step in this way. Pop your hips in, cut his hips off now. Pop them all the way across, take him down to the mat. The other thing that you can do from this position is step behind his hip. So from here, this way, we're going to step behind this way. Now as we do that, we're going to lock up around his waist, lift and pop the hips. Take him back. That's a very effective technique. Okay, from here, now we lock the hands, we step back behind the hips, pop the hips in and take him back. That way. Another thing that you can do towards the front, when you lock the hands, okay, the first time we stepped behind, we popped the hips and we took him back. This time, we're just going to step in, control the center of his body this way, and wind him down in a circle to his back that way. Okay, again. You have his waist controlled, lock your hands. Step in this way. Twist him in a circle, down to the mat and towards his back. The big factor here is that you're controlling the center of his body. This is a tremendous position to be in. You can step behind, pop your hips and take him back, or you can step in front. The only place he has to go in this situation is towards the front and towards his back. Half Nelson. Now let's talk about defensing the underhook. You should know how to defend the underhook as well as be able to get into it. Okay, first of all, when a man gets an underhook, you want to try to protect your legs as much as possible. Basically what we're talking about here is just keeping this elbow in close to your body and not giving him anything to shoot at. First defense we're going to talk about is just post his shoulder this way and raise the elbow high. The elbow comes high and back to the inside. Okay, we're posting his shoulder, elbow high. Notice, as I take my elbow high, I turn it towards the inside, back down. As you take it back down, you lower your center of gravity. Now, you don't take it up this way and raise your body. That gives him a chance to shoot in on your legs. Boom, right there. From here, notice, elbow up, body down, and back in. Okay, so from here, back in again. Okay, another thing that might be available to you in this position is just to take his head. Oftentimes, you can reach over this way, like such, and just pull his head in a circle towards his underhook, that way. He underhooks, hook his head. Now, immediately pull, that way, and move in a circle towards the front of his body. Remember we talked about before, his body has to follow his head. So by doing this, pulling his head this way, now you move that way. The other thing you can do, before he gets it in deep, is a quick pummel. For instance, say Rick digs on this side. I just go back to the inside. Again, you know he's good with the underhook. He digs in, you go back to the inside. Dig in, back to the inside. Here's a good little drill. One man digs for an underhook, he goes to the inside. He digs for one, I go to the inside. Okay, we just keep doing that. This can become automatic in competition if you work on this in your drills. You can do this to both sides. I dig in, he goes inside. The key here is to keep your elbow close to your body. So that now, watch. When I dig in on Rich this time, if immediately he goes back to the inside, I'm not going to have my underhook. Right there. Right there. That stops the underhook immediately. The next thing I'm going to do is show you some ways that you can take this man down from a defensive standpoint and put him towards his back. The first thing I'm going to show is a carry. If the opposition has an underhook on this side and he's not in a strong position, as we talked about before, he needs to move towards the front. Oftentimes, the opposition, not knowing this, will move this way. Okay, that's when you start looking for your fireman's carry. If at all possible, you try to position yourself so that your penetrating leg is forward, this way. Control the arm, hit right in on your fireman's carry, and take him over. That's something you might want to look for if you know the opposition has a good underhook series. The underhooks, again, right here, you try to position yourself from here. You pull, hit right in on the carry position, and take him over. The next thing you can do when he has it on the hook is just drop your weight. Drop your weight down. What we're going to do is drop the weight down, step behind his near leg, like such, this way. What you're going to try to do here is hook on the inside of his leg, like that. Once you can get control of the inside of his knee, then you want to reach behind with the other hand. Now you have him trapped in there, you can take him straight towards his back. Okay, again. From this position here, drop your weight, step behind the leg. Drop your weight, step behind the leg. Now reach behind the leg, lock your hands. Pressure down and towards his back. The other thing that you can do from this position, say he has a nice high underhook position and you're having trouble getting down or getting into a position so that you can hit your fireman's carry. From here, what we want to do is jack that arm up even higher. Lift it up higher, and we're just going to do a back trip. Step behind the leg. Take him straight back that way. Okay, again. He has the underhook on from this position here. Lift it high, step behind the leg. Come under the arm on the other side. Under the arm on the other side. Now just drop, take him straight towards his back. Okay, let's show that one more time. Okay, right here he has it high, lift, step behind. Right here. Make sure that you trap his leg. Make sure that you have control of his hips. Underhook. Now just start to lean, take him right back towards his back. The next technique I will be covering is a 2-on-1 Russian tie. The first thing I want to talk about is securing the Russian tie position. Okay, one of the easiest ways to get into the Russian tie position is when the opposition comes out and goes for a collar tie. Now when he does that, the first thing you want to do is come up with the inside hand, like such, and control his wrist. Now from here, as you do that, you want to raise your shoulders up so that when you go to take it off, it's going to slip right off, this way. Now, When you reach up to tie it up, you raise your shoulders up. From this position, you need to turn your head as you start to take it off, like such. You're going to push his wrist with your shoulder and turn it and look away from it. As you do that, you're going to come up above his elbow joint and control him between the elbow and his shoulder joint, like such. Now, this is the best way to control this arm, is to hook it like this, like this. You don't reach up and control the tie with the thumb over the tricep like such. You reach around and you hook it. You want to be able to put pressure down like this. With the bottom hand, there's two ways you can control it. You control it with the thumb over top like this, palm facing up like such, or you can reach over and control it this way. The way that you control it depends on what you're going to shoot from this position. So again, from here, you come up, reach to the inside, raise your shoulders, look away from it, come over top, take it down. You hook it like such. You can control it this way, or reach over and control it like this. Now, as far as controlling this part of his arm, you can control it two ways as well. Okay, you can control it above the elbow joint, like such, or you can control it above the shoulder joint. If you can control it above the shoulder joint, you're going to get a lot more pressure. You're going to be able to drive him down to the mat and move him around a lot easier if you go above the shoulder joint. If you can controlling it above the elbow joint, this will allow you to shoot certain techniques better. For instance, if Rick pulls this arm away, now you can move right into a single leg position. Or if he pulls the arm away, now you can move into a fireman's carry takedown. So, control it, thumb facing on top, palm up, or around this way. You can control this part of his arm by controlling it above the elbow joint, like such, or above his shoulder joint. If you're above his shoulder joint, you're going to have more control of his body. Okay, now, let's cover some of the things that you can do when the defensive man starts to defend the Russian tie. This is where the Russian tie is most effective. When the defensive man starts to defend this control tie position. Now, oftentimes, the first thing he'll do is reach up and start to push on my head. When he does that, we're going to work right into a double leg tackle position. He reaches up to push my head away. We're going to raise this up. As we raise it up, you're going to lower your center of gravity and step with the inside leg into a double leg tackle position. Move in and work for your finish. Okay, again, control it here. You anticipate that he may reach up and push on your head from here. You raise it up. Now, oftentimes I'll see wrestlers do this. As he pushes on the head, they'll raise their entire body up. All you want to do is push up on the arm and drop your center of gravity, like such. As you drop your center of gravity, you start to step in into a double leg tackle position. The other problem that wrestlers have shooting into a double from this position, okay, when he pushes on my head, they'll turn around and they'll step to this side. It takes a little bit longer to get to a double leg tackle if you step with the leg that's to the outside. So you want to make sure that you step with the inside leg and that your head goes to the same side as your trailing leg when you attack. Drive into him and work for your finish. Another thing that the defensive man may do is reach over and control your wrist, thinking that he can pull your wrist off. Okay, so from here you're controlling your tie. Now from here, he reaches up and controls my wrist. We're just going to jam this elbow in, like such. Lock up both elbows. Okay, again. From this position here, he reaches for my wrist. Now, jam this in, like such, and you want to try to cross his elbows. Now from here, you pull him in tight. Now you reach around with the other arm, step right in. From this position, you always take him towards the Russian tie arm. Take him right over towards his back. Okay, again, he reaches for your wrist. Again, jam it tight. Try to come up as high on his tricep as you can get. You want to cross his elbows. Now, as soon as you do that, cross his elbows, pull this back, come over, squeeze, move into him. Now arch, take him over towards his back, straight towards his back. Okay, another thing that the defensive man might try to do is run around in a circle and try to face you. And as he does that, try to push on your head or your shoulder. This time we'll have Rick push on my shoulder as he runs around towards the front, like such. Now, here's a little scenario that you can work if you know that the defensive man will try that type of maneuver. Okay, so he runs around in a circle, pushes on my shoulder, you post right into an inside step. Okay, watch again. Okay, you have him here, he runs around in a circle. As soon as he reaches, right into an inside step position. Another thing you can do if he runs around in a circle to face you is release the Russian and go to a single to the other side. This works very well if he's traveling at a pretty good speed. For instance, I'll take a Russian, as soon as you take it, now you go to the other side and take the other leg. So, there are two very good techniques you can use if you have someone that wants to face you and push you away at the same time. Again, number one, he comes around in a circle and face me and post, inside step, change off. He comes around to face me and post, into a single leg tackle on the other side. The other thing that the defensive man may try to do is come up over your head into a front headlock position. As soon as he does that, you duck. Once you get him here, obviously you can take him down towards his back. You can take him by stepping behind the near leg, or you can take him, once you get up under the arm, by taking him this way, down towards his back. Okay, again. I've known some wrestlers who will bait this man. They'll stick the head down, he goes over top, and they go right into a duck position. Straight towards his back. Okay, the next thing that the defensive man may try to do is pull his arm away. When he does that, high singles, low singles, fireman's carry. Okay, again. He tries to pull his arm away, high single, low single, fireman's carry. Take him over. Now let's talk about some of the offensive things you can do from the Russian type position. The first thing I'm going to show is how to get this man down to the mat by pressuring him down to the mat. First of all, if you think you want to get him down to the mat, you want to control him above the shoulder. Now from here, you try to put all of your body weight up over his shoulder and move him around towards the front, like such. Once you get him here, you just shuck and move behind. This could be very effective. Again, control this, up over his shoulder, pressure, down, like that. Shuck and go behind. Something else you can do from this position, especially if he starts to pull back a little bit, is raise it up, step behind the leg, take him right into a side trip, straight back. Okay, again, you have your Russian tie, right here, so he pulls it back quick, right here, take him straight back towards his back. Another thing you can do from this position is just step behind his leg here, like this. Control the arm, step behind the leg, and reach. Now, head in his chest, take him straight back like that. Again, right here, control this, he pulls it back, right here. Step behind the leg, control him on his upper thigh, head in his chest, take him straight back towards his back. Another technique that I like to do quite often is when he starts to pull his arm back, I'll come up under his other arm into an underhook position. He pulls it back, this way. It's a foot sweep. He pulls it back, straight back towards his back. Okay, again, you anticipate that he's going to pull the arm back. You let him pull it back. He pulls it back, come under the arm. He pulls it back, come under the arm, step, sweep. Pulls it back, step, sweep. Pulls it back, straight down towards his back. Now let's talk about defensing the Russian tie. There's about 3 excellent ways that you can get out of the Russian tie if the offensive man puts it on you. Okay, first, he has on a Russian tie. You want to make sure that you keep your arm inside, close to your body, and not commit yourself too much. For instance, going to his wrist, pulling back too hard, or trying to come up over his head like this. Okay, protect yourself. Now from here, we're just going to reach, grab his elbow, pull it out this way, just like that. Go to an underhook on the other side. Okay, this way, take his elbow, pull it out, underhook. That will get you out of the Russian. Okay, he's in a Russian tie position. And this, I think, is one of the better ones that you can use. You take a step in. Now, what I do is step, drive his head, and sweep his other leg, like that. Takes him off balance. Okay, you're in this position here. You step, like that. Get him off balance. So you're coming across his head, posting his head that way. Take a step. Here, here, and sweep. You probably won't get a takedown, but it will get him out of the Russian position. The other thing you can do is keep this arm real close to your body and post and snatch, like this. If you post him, that should stop him from shooting in on the carries and singles and other leg attacks. So you have him here, post, protect your legs. Okay, let's run through those again. He has on a Russian tie, everything in close. You reach out, control the elbow, pull, underhook. He has a Russian tie, step, post, sweep. Take him out of position. He has a Russian tie, post, pull. Post, pull. The next series I'll be covering is the front headlock series. The first thing I want to talk about is how a wrestler gets into the front headlock position. One of the better ways to work yourself into a front headlock position is when the opposition takes a shot. All you have to do is sprawl and then move right into your front headlock position. That's one way you can work yourself into that position. And a lot of the times the wrestlers that use a front headlock will bait the opposition. They'll wait for him to take a shot. He takes a shot, the inside leg goes back, and they're in a position to go into a front headlock. Another way to get into it is to snap this man from a collar tie position. From this position here, we talked about this a little bit when we went over the collar tie and inside control position. What we're going to do is snap his head straight down, drive your shoulder up over his head and at the base of his neck, like this. Now sometimes he'll go all the way down to the mat, or you might catch him when he's still up on his feet. In this case, we'll work on either taking him down from here or getting him down to the mat by pulling him in a certain direction. We'll cover that a little bit later. The other way that you can get yourself into a front headlock position is just by coming from an underhook position. From the underhook, all you do is you pull him in a circle this way, cup his head, and move right into a front headlock. Okay, we're on this side. You pull the underhook towards you, like such, cup his head, and now you're into a front headlock position. Then you work into your grips. Okay, now, let's talk about how to control a man once we get him into a front headlock position. The thing you need to know about this front headlock is that it's a very, very effective way to control a man and score points on a takedown. Okay. To control this man in a front headlock position, there's a number of ways you can control your grip. Okay, let's talk about some of the things some of the ways that you can control him. One way that you can control him is by having palm up, palm down, with what we call a wrestler's grip, like this. From this position here, you're going to squeeze his arm into the side of his head and squeeze your elbows together so that you can control his head and this arm. Now, the things that you have to do when you get into this front headlock position, okay, we take this grip, is make sure that your elbow is above his head. As we squeeze his arm into the side of his head like such, you want to make sure that your elbow is above his head. We'll show you what we're talking about on the other side. Okay? Elbow above his head. Here's one of the first counters that the defensive man will try when you go into your front headlock. Okay, I'll take my front headlock position. Now watch, if my elbow is below his head, he'll come up and drag right out into a drag. If your elbow is above his head, he's going to have a very difficult time trying to drag out. He can't get to it. Okay? And you can get a really tight grip on his head if that elbow is above his head. What you're doing is squeezing the elbow in and the arm together, his head into his arm, like such. Okay, again, elbow above his head. That's very important. Now, as much as possible, when you take your elbow above his head, you still need to shift your weight towards the center of his body, because you want to put pressure on his head and be in a position so that you can not only take his head down, but take his head forward. A lot of wrestlers, when they get into a front headlock position, they just rest up on his back like such. Put pressure on this man and put him in a position so that you can have your easiest way to score points. Not only do you put pressure down, but you start to move him forward as you squeeze the head into the arm. Okay, let's get back to the grips. Again, the first grip, palm up, palm down. From here, you're going to squeeze both elbows together. Like I said, you want to shift your weight back to the center as much as possible, because you can lean too far over on this side and then you might lose him. So shift your weight back towards the center of his body. You can still have your elbow high in this position. Okay, now, the other thing you need to do to control this position is go up on your toes. Okay, so from this position here, when you go up on your toes, now this man's supporting all of my weight. Okay, he's supporting all of my weight. As I said before, if you grip him and put the weight not only down, but towards the front of his head, he will probably collapse right down to the mat. So from this position right here, you're up on your toes, and you start moving him this way. Now you're in a great position to score points. From this position, all I need to do is step up, block this arm, and I can move right behind. Okay, that's one grip. The next way you can grip him is by doing this. Before we locked like this, palm up, palm down. This time we're going to take him like this. This is also a very, very tight grip. We're doing the same things. We're taking a grip like this. We're going to squeeze the elbows together. Try to keep the elbow above his head, if at all possible. It may be somewhere alongside his ear. That's okay too. The key point here is that you don't want to be in a position so that this man could drag out. So, in this situation, palm up, palm down, and you're taking a grip like such. This is a very, very tight grip. Again, you're up on your toes, like such. The next grip I'm going to show, I feel, is one of the better grips. Very basic grip. What we're doing is going from here to the wrist. I find that I have more control this way and can do more changes to score than I can with the other two grips. The other two grips are very good. However, for me, this is the best way to grip it. Now from here, what I do is lock across, and you control your own wrist, like such. You get your elbow high, squeeze his arm into the side of his head, like that. Up on your toes, like that. All of these grips are good. The main thing you want to do is focus in on the things that will allow you to score points and keep him from defending your front headlock. Elbow above his head. Weight down and pressure forward, like such. Squeeze his arm into the side of his head. You can get an awful lot of pressure once you start squeezing his arm into the side of his head. The other way that you can control this man from a front headlock position is by controlling his chin. Control his chin here, and you control his elbow, like this. Control his chin, and you control his elbow. Your weight is still at the base of his neck. You can still have this man supporting all of your weight. You can do different techniques when you control this man's chin. You can do the same techniques when you control this man's chin. It's just a different way of controlling the front headlock position. Again, control his chin and control his elbow. Let me show you one technique that's very effective from this position. Weight at the base of his skull, elbow high. Now from here, all we're going to do is lift this up this way and back him up in a circle this way so that we collapse his body down to the mat. You notice I pull this elbow up like such, put all the weight in the area where he doesn't have any support, and his body collapsed right down to the mat during the time that I was controlling his chin with the other hand. Now once he's down to the mat, now it's just a matter of stepping over this arm and walking behind. Okay, now we're going to cover some of the techniques that you can use once you get control of this man down on the mat. As I said before, the front headlock is a very, very effective technique, and you can devastate the defensive man with this technique if you know how to use it properly. Okay, the first technique. Okay, you get yourself into a front headlock position like such. You want to make sure, that you're up off your knees, elbow high, squeezing the arm into the side of his face. When you do techniques, what happens oftentimes is you change your grip from a controlled position like this to this and this type thing, or this and this type technique. We'll run through some of those. The first one we're going to show is a thigh block. Okay, so that Rick won't get too tired, I'm going to stay on my knees and show some of these techniques. I don't want my partner collapsing on me. Okay, so we're here. Okay, now obviously, again, you start off on your toes. To do this technique, what you do is you change your grip. You come from this position to here. Now, if his knee or knees are close enough, what we're going to do is change the grip from here to here. We're just going to reach across his knee, block it. Take him right over to the side. Now, two things may happen here. He may be flopped over far enough so that you can come around underhook and go cross chest. Or sometimes you do that technique and he'll pop right back up to his knees. Okay, first of all, we change from the grip to here. This is important. Change your grip from here to here. Now go here. Now you pop him over, he pops back up to his knees, and you just ride him around in a circle that way. Okay, let's work through that scenario. I'm going to pop Rick over and have him pop right back up. You anticipate that he may pop right back up to his knees. Okay, so we have the grip. All right, now we change from here to here. Pop, and you go behind like such. The other thing that you can do from this front headlock position, okay, you change your grip, you pop him over. Now from here you come right into an underhook, high leg over, cross chest. You're in a position to work for your pin. Another technique that you can use along the same lines from the front headlock position, okay, you control him here. Now the last time we came from this position to here, to here. This time we're going to come from here to here. Now we're going to shoot the free arm through all the way to the other side and block his far knee, like such. You control this, you get it tight. Now as soon as you do that, you shoot this arm all the way through, pop him over to his side, like that. Once you pop him over to his side, you don't rush forward like this. You're going to end up getting reversed. This is very important. Okay, we went from here to here. We shoot this arm all the way across to the other side. Pop him over. Now we sit back. We post the hand on the other side. We raise his head up like such. Sit him all the way up this way. Make sure that you have your legs spread and posted. Now when you get ready to take him back, you take your time so that when he goes back, you have him in a nice tight pinning combination. Okay, let's show that from the other side. Okay, again, front headlock position, I change my grip. Now watch, you shoot this across hard to the other side. Drive him over. Now, post to the other side. Now, you take him back. Take your time. Make sure that you keep this inside hand or arm locked up. Post. Now, sit him up. Keep your legs spread. Keep the hand posted out so that you can keep your balance. Now, once you get him here, just kind of walk him back towards his back. And now you've got him in a nice, tight pinning combination. Keep your legs spread. You may have to keep your hand posted. Okay. Those are two things that you can do from the front headlock position. Something else that you can do once you get into this position is just control him here. Now from here, what we're going to do from a position of being up on the toes is take your head, stick it right in his armpit. You're squeezing his arms together. Right? Now from here, you take your head, you squeeze it right in his armpit. Now, you go in a tripod position so that everything tightens up. Once you can see his ankle, you take his ankle. You can take him over, go into a cradle position, or you can go all the way behind and score points that way. Okay, watch again. Now, to the naked eye, it doesn't look like this is a position that's very stable. However, it tightens up more and more the more you drive your head into his armpit and move around towards the back part of his body. Okay, again, you get your grip right here. You take your head, you stick it right in his armpit. Now from here, you start walking behind, like this. From here, you reach. Right now, you can pull his head and his leg together for a cradle, drive him over, step in, it's on his back. Or, when you get him in this position here, stick your head in there, you walk behind, catch his ankle, just move around behind. The other thing that you can do, that's relatively simple, and it depends on how close his leg is to you from a front headlock position, is if he's in the right position, just reach behind, grab his ankle. Now when you grab his ankle, you just drive him over to his side. You may have to change your grips to keep him on his back or get your takedown. The other thing that I like to do from this position is a shuck. A shuck is an excellent technique. The key thing you have to do here is stay up on your toes. Now you can work it from a chin control tie, or you can work it from a tie where you control him in this position first. The thing I like to do is start moving in one direction and have him try to react to the direction that you're moving in. So from here, you get up on your toes. You start running this way. He starts to follow, and you shuck. Okay, watch again. From this position here, you're up on your toes. You start to move. He starts to follow, shuck. The whole key to this shuck is what you do with his head. You really have to take his head down in a way as you shuck. Remember, his body has to follow his head. You don't shuck his head straight across. What you do is you take it down and across. That way you're going to get more leverage as you shuck him by. Okay, watch again. From this position here, we start to move, he follows, we shuck. Nice hard shuck. The other thing I like to do, if you have a man that's real active, a guy that's a good scrambler, a lot of the time he'll react to just simple fakes. This is another good way to shuck him by. Okay, you get him in this position here, and you just do this, like this. He'll react, and then you shuck him by. What happens when you reach back and tap his leg, he'll react because he thinks that you're going to go around in a circle that way. So from this position here, you shuck or tap, and then you shuck him by. Okay, now let's go up on the feet. Talk about what we can do when this man is on his feet. Okay, we talked about a couple ways that we can get into the front headlock position from the feet. And oftentimes, the guys that use this front headlock will snap this man into a front headlock position here, and he won't go all the way down to the mat. He'll be resisting. because he'll want to stay up on his feet, which is probably a good idea on his part. Okay, let's talk about getting into it. The key is a snap. You want to snap him hard. Drive your shoulder up over his head and try to control him at the base of his skull. You notice, as I snapped him, I took my inside leg back. You never know when this man might be waiting and take a shot on your leg. So as you snap him, take your inside leg back. Once you get control, either like this or control of his chin, you can move your feet back up into the position that you want them in. Okay, let's talk about ways that we can get him into a position so that we can attack him. Now let's talk about some of the ways that we can attack the opposition when he's on his feet with the front headlock. The first technique we're going to show is the cross ankle. Okay, once we snap this man into the front headlock position, to get him in a position so that we can hit the cross ankle, we want to put a lot of pressure on his head and get him leaning forward. What you would like to do is crunch his body down towards his knees so that now all of the pressure and weight is on his toes. Now, so we snap him into a front headlock position, a lot of weight and pressure right at the base of his skull, pressure him down like such. Okay, now from here, if you can, you want to move him in a circle like that so that you can get him to step. When he steps, you can do it either one of two ways. You can change your grip and go here like such and reach across, or you can come over and control his chin. So from here, we snap him here, a lot of pressure down. Move him in a circle. Now from here, change your grip, reach across, take his ankle right towards his back. A key part of this technique is to make sure that you put a lot of pressure on his head. Get him leaning over so that a lot of the weight is on his toes. Now again, watch, he has to follow his head. If you can get him to step, there's your cross ankle. So from here, we snap him into the front headlock position, like such. Now pressure down. Okay, now, move him in a circle, he steps, reach across, take your cross ankle. Okay, that's one technique that you can do from this position. The next technique we're going to show is how to get this man all the way down to the mat with the front headlock. Say we snap him into a front headlock, and this man is resisting with a lot of force, trying to come up. Now from this position, you keep control of your front headlock. You try to keep all the weight on the base of his skull and towards the front again. Now from here, what we're going to do is take him in a circle away from his far leg so that his body travels in this type motion. That's a very effective way to get him down to the mat. Again, we want to squeeze his elbow into his head. We want to keep the elbow high. We want to pull him in a circle this way. A lot of the times when you take your front headlock position, you can take him all the way over to his side with the force that you get from that technique. Okay, we chop him here. All right, now from here, just like that, take him in a circle. Now, you can work yourself into a position so that you can get your 2 points. Let's try that again. Okay, first, you snap him into your front headlock position. Again, we want to take him in a circle away from that leg. The weight goes forward and away from that support leg, like such. So from here, we have him in a front headlock position. Now from here, we take him in a circle away from that leg, like that. Once you get him down on the mat, you can work your offense. A couple other things that you can do when this man is on his feet. This is called the thigh block. From here, what we do is we come across, control his tricep. All we're going to do is reach through with the arm that's controlling the head and block his far knee. So from here, we take him there and go into a cross chest. You watch again. From this position here, come across. Trap his head in, pull this forward. Now drive. From here, we go into a cross chest, like such. You can do it with the head trapped under like such, or from this position here, you can come in and take it there, and take it across. Either way. Another technique that we can use is the inside trip. Okay, from this position here, say you've got the opposition really resisting up with this thing. What you want to do again is take him in a circle, keep a lot of pressure on his head. Now from here, we're going to step forward, step to the inside, right all the way to your knee. Right now, take him right towards his back into a pinning situation. Okay, again, watch what we do here. Okay, front headlock position. He's resisting up. Okay, he starts to walk in. Keep this tight. You can keep it tight like this and step in, or you can come across like this. If you release and come across like this, you can reach back, control this, then step in like this. Always lean towards his head when you take him back with that technique. Okay, watch again. 1. Control him here like this. Now step, drive all the way to the knee. All the way to the knee, like such. Keep your lock, drive him right straight towards his back. Second one, control the front headlock position. Come across the tricep. Keep a lot of pressure on his head. Catch him right behind his knee. Step. Go to the knee, take him right back towards his back. Okay, now, other ways that you can use this front headlock. Okay, he's in a front headlock position here. You've got a man that's really strong. He's resisting up hard. As he comes up, you let him come up. Drive the arm across. High inside step. Change off. Okay, let's speed this up a little bit. Okay, a lot of pressure here. He comes up right into an inside step to a double. Or you can go straight into a double leg tackle again. Pressure here. He comes up. Drive this arm across. Step. Double leg tackle. Right towards his back. Okay, let's work that again. The key here is controlling this arm as he bucks up. Okay, here. Front headlock position. He comes up hard, drive. 1. Lower your center of gravity, attack. 2. He comes up hard, double, attack. Those are some of the techniques that you can do when this man is on his feet. There's one other thing you want to keep in mind when you control the front headlock position. This man may be down on the mat like such, and he'll come up into a tripod position like such. Okay, now, if his feet or his back leg is close enough so that you can take it, you look for your cross ankle. So from here, you go all the way across, take that ankle, and drive him to his back. That's the other technique you look for if he's on his feet, or trying to come to his feet from the mat position. Okay, you change off, reach across, drive him to his side, take him towards his back. Now let's talk about defensing the front headlock position. Okay, I'm going to give Rick a turn to put me in a little bit of pain. Okay, when a man controls a front headlock position, like such, if at all possible, you want to try to control his elbow to the same side that he's controlling your head on, like such. Now you know that he's going to be trying to go around either to this side or shuck me that way. So you really need to control this thing and just keep trying to move with him. Okay, he starts to move. Okay, you try to keep your head up and you move in the same direction that he moves in. But you try to control that elbow, okay? That way, he may not be able to secure that takedown. Control the elbow and move with him. Now, the other thing that you look for from this position is the drag. If he has his elbow high, like Rick has, you're going to have trouble getting to your drag position. If it's low, then you reach high up on the arm, high up on his arm, as close to his shoulder as you can get. You step up, and you drag out, like such. That's the second technique you can use. Now, another technique you can use when he comes into this position here is to reach up, control his arm again. Now, allow him to think that maybe he can get behind you if he travels away from the side that your head's on. So when he goes behind, you sit out and you come through that way. And that will give you an opportunity to get out of that position. This is an excellent technique. Watch again. Okay, he's controlling the front headlock position. you come up, you control his arm. He starts to travel behind. Sit through and come out the other side. I would like to thank Rick Lynch for helping out. I would also like to thank Asics Tiger for sponsoring this technique tape. They've always been the #1 wrestling shoe company in my book. This was tape number 5 in a series of technique tapes that I have put together. I hope the techniques that I showed will be useful to you. Best of luck with your wrestling.